This is The Thunder Zone, a Tampa Bay 28 podcast original. Let's talk Bulls. Now, here's Kevin and Kyle.
And welcome into the Tampa Bay 28 Thunder Zone. That's Kevin Lewis. I'm Kyle Berger. Kevin, all it takes is a hat trick, 3 points from Radish, and Vasilevsky making 31 of 32 saves. That's the ingredients for a 5-1 win over the Devils.
Stir it up, put it in the old air fryer or whatever else. I guess if you're an
Crock
80s,
pot.
90s, crock pot food processor. They still sell those on the bottom shelf at Best Buy. I don't know. But yes, a win at Benchmark International Arena over a really good team, the New Jersey Devils, a good sign for the Lightning. But before the puck even dropped, before the pucks dropped at morning skate, we found a little bit of news about John Cooper, who was not with the team yesterday.
Yeah, out for what they say is personal reasons. So we had a new coach behind the bench for only the second time in John Cooper's career.
Jeff Halperin, enter stage right or stage left, whichever you want, focused, stoic.
Looking dapper.
Yes, before the game. Oh, yeah, the suit game of the Lightning coaches.
All the coaches.
Very tight. Yeah, no question. And, the players took care of business, as the aforementioned Guentzel gets them on the board. He had 2 more goals. We call that a hat trick in the business. 2
were power play. So the Bolts power play finally ticking up. It's been pretty dormant as of late until last night.
Yeah, and when you have all those factors you said clicking, Jeff Halperin said after the game that all he had to do was pretty much just show up and roll the pucks out there.
I think for myself to come in on the bench, I think my job was to make sure those get out of the way of those guys, and they've always responded well to any sort of adversity, and tonight was no different. So for me, it was enjoyable. Circumstances, obviously.
Welcome back to the Tampa Bay 28 Thunder Zone.
And welcome back to the Tampa Bay 28 Thunder Zone. Kevin Lewis, Kyle Berger, and a guest in studio, Diandra Loux of the Hockey News joins us in studio this time instead of out on location.
We go where we want, but when Diandra comes, we bring her to the studio now to spice things up a little bit. She's probably forgotten more hockey than I know. So we're going to get into it. As the Lightning last night, as we talked about in the first segment, a lot of things went right at Benchmark International on Tuesday.
Yeah, including the power play. That's a key ingredient. 2 goals from Jake Guentzel, a part of his hat trick. So 2 of those 3 on the power play. So what's been working for them on the power play this last game?
I think the power play, we know the Lightning as the team that's always been good on the power play, right? For years. I think they finished 5th in the league. So little surprise, right? When things were off to start the season, it looks like things are turning a corner. They brought in Darren Radish to the first power play unit. Obviously, Victor Hedman's been dealing with an injury. Seems like it's working right now. I'm assuming that will probably stay while things work, but
Darren Radish getting high praise in the locker room after the game yesterday. Kind of the guy you wouldn't expect. I call him one of the guys who's not necessarily a team score guy. They're not like all the jerseys are flying off the shelves for Radish. But, a guy that comes in, has 2 assists. I didn't know. I guess I knew, but I forgot that they had the Lightning trivia on the big – and he is tied for the franchise record for assists in a game with 5.
Yeah.
And unreal. And when he comes in, he doesn't do it loudly, but he does it effectively.
Yeah, I don't know what it is with the Devils. He had a couple points against the Devils when they played earlier this season too. So he's been kind of the guy, right?
Yeah. He's getting a lot of responsibility too, right? With the injuries, he's obviously been given a lot, and he's handling it really well. One thing that was really interesting last night with Jeff Halperin is he said that Darren Radish kind of gives the identity of what he wants the team to embody. He's one of those players, him and Anthony Cirelli. So I thought that was a big compliment for Darren Radish.
No, again, a guy you don't, when you list off, okay, who are the key contributors? Who are we going to need to play well tonight? He doesn't come top of mind first, but you said Nikita Kucherov again making 2 really good passes, which goals it looked like carbon copies for Jake Guentzel. They have the kiss cam at Benchmark, and then at the end they pick a visiting fan and they play all by myself. Jake Guentzel was on mark. He was standing by himself. We call those Kevin Lewis goals, where if you give me a stick and an empty net, and it's if somebody's wide open, I don't know if there's anyone better in the league than Kucherov.
He mentioned Halpern. He didn't mention Cooper, which is odd because only the second time since he's been here he was out. So do you know anything about why Cooper wasn't on the bench on Tuesday?
Not a lot about John Cooper being out, but I have to say it was a little eerie being in the arena without John Cooper. Once the game started, I was like, this is a little different. I'm not used to this, but it was cool to see how the assistant coaches how they are, how they speak, because we don't really get to talk to them that much, right? We got to get their point of view, especially with Halpern on the power play. Like we said, that's been kind of a common theme this season.
And I don't think it's a question of if Jeff Halpern is going to be a head coach in the league. Maybe a couple more years of season. I mean, he was a player in the league, a gritty guy, but I think it's just a matter of when he's going to be the number one guy on somebody's franchise, which a lot of assistant coaches in the last half decade for the Lightning, bad for them, good for others, have become. So
you got to start grooming guys like you got high note, like you talked to last week, grooming those guys for the next step as well.
Right. And Diandra asked Jeff Halpern about the effectiveness of the power play last night, as it was such a big weapon for Jake Guentzel and the boys at Benchmark.
I think at times when we've been struggling, it's been not being able to get set up, not being able to get recoveries or entries, and obviously tonight with a couple of 1 face-offs, it makes it a lot easier. I would say as a group, especially individually, a lot of guys looked really good and confident with the puck tonight, and I think when those guys look like that, it helps the power play. And I think with Cooch especially, special as he is in some of the plays that he was able to make, and then obviously Ratty and Gens on their own on the one, but I think when Cooch is playing as well as he did tonight, it makes everything look good.
So that's the good on the power play. Also, it's been good. It's been penalty kill. Bolts are top 5. So what's been working on the kill?
Yeah, well, obviously, like Cirelli has been out, but he's back. But
right.
Cirelli and Hagel on the penalty kill, that's kind of their bread and butter. That developed last season, and I know that has been a huge focus for them this year, as they kind of want to beat what they did last year. So that definitely has helped them, especially a lot of these games. We take last night out of the picture, but a lot of these games have been kind of low-scoring, close games, especially to start the season. So it really helps when you are a top 5 team on the penalty kill.
That's one of the refrains from Coach Cooper, too. He says, it's not going to be a problem of if we can find guys to put the puck in the net, it's keeping it out. And the special teams doing the dirty work, especially, like you said, Cirelli and Hagel are making their living, making their paycheck doing that night in, night out.
Another question. So what was the difference? In Vancouver, they jumped out 2-0, gave up the 6 goals. They come back, they jump out 2-0, and then they keep the foot on the gas. What was said in the locker room or by Coach Halpern about that? The difference in those 2 games? Yeah,
I think something that we don't talk about as much is like the mental side of the game, right? And I know when we spoke with High Note on Monday, he kind of talked about instead of just kind of giving up and counting yourself out, kind of like digging in and pushing even harder. I think what happened is Vancouver pushed a little bit in the second period because they were like, what did we just do?
Yeah.
And they started to push on the Lightning, and I mean, I don't know if it's necessarily an excuse, but it was a back-to-back set. You know what I mean?
Right.
And the Lightning kind of just pulled back instead of digging their heels in and pushing forward. And they weren't going to do that last night. So when they were up 2-0, I mean, that was a real test, right? In the second period is how they were going to respond. And obviously they managed to pull through.
Look at the Eastern Conference standings, and there's 9 points separating the top 16 teams in the Eastern Conference. So this is tight. It might be tight all the way to the end.
Yeah.
We can only hope. We can only hope with the Lightning on the better side.
The Lightning pulling away. Yes.
Right. Yeah. So we will talk upcoming schedule and show you the injuries. We'll talk upcoming schedules and a full list of injuries because the transaction list keeps growing, which you want that to shrink. Plus more fan stuff coming up. But we're going to have more with Diandra coming up in just a couple of minutes on Tampa Bay 28. You can put some bass in your voice for this. Thunder Zone. We'll teach you for the next block. It's fine.
Welcome back to the Tampa Bay 28 Thunder Zone.
And if you don't know, now you know. Kevin Lewis, Kyle Berger, joined by Diandra Loux, the hockey news, on this week's edition of the Thunder Zone. And we have video evidence both that Andrei Vasilevskiy is human and that sometimes that he can be superhuman sometimes. And he had a rough start to the season because the team has a rough start to the season. The players in front of him, have been mix and match. He's probably had to memorize different backs of jerseys. But, still, when he's on, he's the best there is, I think.
Oh, yeah. I was actually thinking about that last night, watching him play. Like, sometimes you watch him and you're just like, how did he do that? He's like doing the splits. You're like, what just happened? I don't even know how he just made the save.
Right. A split and the save.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, he went 31 of 32 stops, and the one he lets in is.
Yeah. You're like, no, it's right. Yeah. Yes.
Poor Vassy.
But Dan Highnote said he used the phrase a couple weeks ago. He really just kills the other team's hope. Like when you see 88 out there, and it's nothing against Jonas Johansson, but you don't want to see 88 if you're the opposing team take the ice there. But I was mentioning having to read a lot of different jerseys. We have, Andrew, we we call it the transactions list, which you want to be fairly short, I would think. But it is, here we go. So Scott Sabarin sent down to the AHL, but here you go. We're going to work backward pretty much until the Washington game. And it's just been a revolving door, a constant plane taking off and landing of guys from Syracuse.
I will say, though, they're lucky this year. I don't know if it's luck. It's obviously they did a good job building in Syracuse, but they have depth this year. So I think if you look at the standings and you look at the Atlantic Division and then you look at the depth that the Lightning have, like if it's going to happen, all these injuries, this is probably a good season for it to happen.
Which, if you'd have told me before this season they'd be this thin on defense, I don't know if I'd be 10-7-2, and maybe like 7-10-2. But I mean, they're doing it on the back line.
Yeah, and it's these defensemen are getting called up, and it's going to make them better in the long run. Plus, of course, we mentioned Vazzy, but Johansson's been pretty good as a backup as well, except for the Vancouver game. We'll give it a pass on
everybody.
That
Get a flyer. Yeah,
everyone has their nights.
Yeah. Oh, tell me about it. But no, Declan Carlisle, Charles Edouard Destu, Steven Santini. Again, I pounded home. They're not the team store guys, but they're the guys that you're going to need, doing the nuts and bolts work to find success for this team.
Yeah, I think Destu was a nice welcome surprise,
yeah.
right?
Yes.
He's an undrafted guy.
Yeah.
That's kind of where the Lightning have always had that strength, right? They're able to find those guys that no one's really paying attention to.
Yeah,
and they come up
over in the European leagues, doing his thing. He's getting top defenseman of the year over in Finland and Sweden, and then comes over here and he fits right in.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So now we've established injuries, defense, power play kill, all these different things. I mean, we are 19 games in, so not quite a quarter of the way into the season. What has maybe been a big surprise, do you think, or something that I'm going to say, I'm going to go the easy route and say, their record, because they've had all these injuries. But is something stuck out as something you're like, if I told you this on night one of the season, you'd be like, what, you're crazy?
I think there's two things, right? One is good and one is not great,
sure,
but it's getting better. The first thing that surprised me is just the depth that they have. Like what we talked about, guys like Destu and Dominic James, like nobody knew that those guys were coming in. And in years past, you just didn't really see a lot coming up from Syracuse and them actually staying for more than, a game or two, just coming up for injuries, going back down. So that was a very welcome surprise, I thought.
Right.
And just like Finley and Curtis Douglas, like all these young guys that are coming in. And also you can include Sabrin in there too. He's a vet, but like he's held his own. And then I'm surprised to see what's going on with the power play. It seems like it's starting to turn a corner and they're going to figure it out eventually.
Right.
But the Lightning have been like a top 5 power play team for as far as I can remember.
We'll wrap up with you.
That's it.
Unless you want to add.
This will not be the last. Yes,
okay,
no.
She's really interested in our bobbleheads here.
Right. Well, who isn't?
I did want to compliment you guys because there's a Kucherov and Vasilevsky bobblehead here, and then there's Kuch with the cup. But I love that it's the two of them together.
I swear, if next block these are missing,
it's me.
No, yeah, right. Yes, and then my faux ring. So
I
yes,
saw
the
that
metal.
too.
Yeah, it's it was there for
There's
the
got a lot
giveaway.
going on.
Yes, and this puck that almost
Lucky to
hit
be
me in the
here.
face. It was the Blackhawks game during COVID when it was just the media and they took the nets down. And I forgot who shot it. And I looked away I wasn't even on my phone. I wasn't being a millennial.
I hope it hits him in the face. Hit him in the face. No,
Kyle, you'll be working about 3 weeks by yourself. I wouldn't have any teeth. But that's where the Gary Bettman puck signed. So Diandra will be joining us throughout the season. Kyle will be. I'll probably be, unless they just ditch me. And Andrew, that's a joke. It's a joke. So yeah, we'll be back with a fan zone package and a look ahead to the next 4 games pre-Turkey Day in just a couple of minutes on the Tampa Bay. You can do it. The Tampa Bay 28 Thunder Zone. Okay, it's got to get better before this.
Welcome back to the Tampa Bay 28 Thunder Zone.
Hey, Bolts fans, this is Sean Daly on Thunder Alley. I'm always on the lookout for great Lightning fans. And I think I found the ultimate Lightning fans. They even come with a Zamboni.
The Pasquera family from Riverview loves 2 things the most, the Bolts and Beagles. So why not make it one big love fest? That's Champ, that's Gracie.
They even have Lightning dog toys at home, Lightning leashes, collars, bandanas, dog beds, you name it, everything's really Lightning for them. They also love Thunderbug. Gracie got held by Thunderbug many times.
The rescue puppers have become fan favorites online and at games. And everyone wants a snapshot of the Zamboni.
At Thunder Alley, the fans are just obsessed with it.
Mom Flo and daughters Kimberly and Emily moved here from Jersey more than a decade ago and instantly became Lightning diehards.
The summer of 2014, we moved from Jersey, and once we moved from Jersey, we were instantly hooked to the Tampa Bay Lightning.
And they swear the Beagles are big Bolts fans too.
And they go to the watch parties, all Lightning events.
All right, everybody, give it up for the Pesquera family. If you're an awesome Lightning fan just like them, hit me up on Instagram at Sean Daly TV and tell me your story. Although this is going to be tough to beat. Let's go Bolts on Thunder Alley. I am Sean Daly for Tampa Bay 28.
That is so Zamboni. That is masterclass, and that I feel like there's a big social media handle that could be taken advantage of by that fine family.
I know Gracie's not named after a player, but maybe it's Champ named after maybe the back-to-back cups. I gotta find out how old that dog.
I'll go with that. Yeah, no, and even if it's not, yeah, that's the dog's name now. Oh, perfect. Well, Sean Daly, thank you. Yeah,
are we missing a
I was just about to say our good friend Diandra. Loux. She's slick. God, she knows everything about hockey, and
I'll catch you in the press box on Thursday night.
Yeah,
I'm getting it back.
Get back. Thank you to her. The hockey news. She's great. She's going to be on a lot with us this upcoming season as we dive deeper and deeper into this Bolts run, and they want to get back to Los playoffs. And speaking of
Thursday night, we got to look ahead to the schedule.
Yeah,
Thursday night. Guess who's in town? Connor McDavid and Draisaitl, two of the best players in the world.
Right. Yeah. If you get a chance to see them, if you're fortunate enough to see them in person, again, just hockey in general, if you get a chance to go to a Bolts game, the experience is so much different than on television. And then a trip up to Washington for the weekend to take on the Capitals, and Andrei Ovechkin. Andrei Vasilevsky meets on Alexander Ovechkin. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, they're all right. Yeah, John Cooper said it's sneaky, Russians, sneaky. Yes. Who's off to a slow start by his Hall of Fame greatest goal scorer of all time standards. But it's always great when those two teams get together. And then two Turkey week games
on Monday and Wednesday. Yeah,
yes,
there we are.
The Flyers in town, the East Coast teams, so New England teams. There's a little extra juice in the building. It feels like when Philly fans, whether the Eagles come to Ray J, which it seems like they do every other week, or the Flyers come into town, then the Calgary Flames coming in Wednesday to help you celebrate getting all your Thanksgiving shopping done.
I think that's going to do it for our award-winning program.
It actually got the award for best hockey podcast on the spot in Tampa Bay 28. So, and for Scripps News. But I think we're going to have to debate some Thanksgiving food as well next week.
Yes, we will.
Yeah.
Oh, we have been told there's no podcast next week. Why?
Andrew,
why is there no podcast?
Kick saving. Why don't we have?
We're both here.
We're here. We're working.
There's games next week.
No podcast. Darn it.
All right.
Well, we'll wait 2 weeks then.
Sweet potato casserole.
Sweet potato casserole. Stovetop over everything. Stuffing over everything with gravy all over everything.
Stuffing or dressing.
Wow. Okay. Well, we'll see you in a couple of weeks. Stuffing. Dressing goes on salad. What's the matter with you?
That's stuff in the turkey.
Kyle Berger, Kevin Lewis, Diandra, thank you very much again. And thank you guys for watching us on The Spot, Tampa Bay 28 Thunder Zone, wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you for enduring us, and we will see you more throughout the season. Be safe. Take care. Until then, again, that's Kyle. I'm Kevin.
You're going to miss us next week
on the Thunder Zone.